Alright, welcome everybody to another plugin review. Today we're going to be looking at the Soundtoys SciQ. At least I believe that's the pronunciation there. If you know how this is really pronounced, please leave a comment so that way I can be informed. And I would like to start by saying that this is actually more of a preview because I really haven't gotten to mess around with this too much. I tried it on this mix on a few different things, and I think it's a really cool one. So I'll go ahead and I'll give you some audio examples, and then I'll just tell you sort of what I like about this plugin and what I don't like. And just a little bit of foreshadowing here. There's more that I like than what I don't like. So let's check it out. If you look up here on the plugin, you can see what it's being used on. And I'll go a little further in detail into that later. So let's listen to some sound and then we'll talk more about it after.
Babylon, 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 I go gone. Ooh, Babylon. They coming to take it, take it away. So you. Babylon, Babylon, go. You're coming to take it away. No, 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 far away. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, yeah, yes. Oh, no. Run, run, run. Babylon, I go gone. I said the Babylon, 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 ooh, Babylon.
Okay, so you can see I've used it on quite a few different things here just to get a taste of it. And I pretty much showed everything except for this mid-band. So we'll go back and listen to a little bit of this mid-band a little bit later on. So let's just start left to right and we'll talk about this. So There's a low frequency, and it doesn't actually tell you what the frequency is, but it's a really, I know a lot of people hate this word, but it's a really musical EQ. You can really boost a lot of this, and it doesn't really sound bad. It kind of just starts to distort a little bit, and I actually really like the distortion that comes from this. If you've watched any of my videos, you'll know that I really like distortion and saturation plugins, and this it just distorts really nicely. Okay, moving over, we have the mid section, which you have a few different frequencies here. You have 6 different choices: 700 hertz, 1K, 1.5, 2.3, 3.5, and 5.6K. So, to me, this is just, it's a really great EQ. You can boost a lot of it without it sounding harsh. And the cuts sound really good too. Like if you want to remove some muddiness, you cut a little bit of this 700. It really works great. I did a little bit of that on the all music bus that I have here. But really, what shines through for this plugin for me is this high end and this drive. So there was a point in there in the audio examples where I went to the vocal and soloed it and just boosted this 15 dB on this high end, and it really doesn't sound how to describe it. It doesn't sound too over EQ'd. I mean, obviously at 15 dB, yeah, it starts to sound over EQ'd, but it brings this nice airiness and just this nice silkiness to the top end. It does sound a little bit over EQ'd, but not like most EQs. It just handles the high end in a nice way. And I don't know exactly what frequency this is boosting at, but to me, this is the magic of this plugin, this high end, as well as this drive. But as far as the actual EQ, this high end is just, it's so airy and present, and just it really surprised me. And the thing about this plugin, I guess I should have mentioned this earlier. This plugin is 100% free until October 13th. And this is Soundtoys' first ever EQ emulation. And this is actually an emulation of an actual analog EQ. I'm not really familiar with the actual hardware, but all I know is that I love the Soundtoys plugins. So as soon as I saw that they put this plugin out for free, I jumped on it. And yeah, get this while it's still free, because after it's done with this little free run, it'll be $130, which really I think it is worth that. This is a really great plugin. It does something that your stock EQ can't really do. Just that saturation that it brings when you bring it up, it's very nice, and it has a lot of character to it. So moving on, it has some harmonic saturation that you can add in with this drive knob, and this is one of my favorite things in just about any analog emulation, is when you can adjust the drive. It just gives it more of that vibiness, and this one is very colorful. So even here, just like boosting it at the 3 here, the 3 dB, it's crazy how much color you get from this. I did an example where I boosted it all the way to 15, and you heard it. It actually like got real gritty, but in like a nice way. You could use this on like a keyboard or something. An organ that you want to get some color out of it, and some grittiness. So this is a really great feature in this plugin. Now on to the one thing that I don't like about this plugin. The one thing that I don't like is that it doesn't have an output attenuation, which isn't really a big deal, because you can just throw on like some sort of trim plugin or something like that. In fact, here, not here, somewhere in here, I used this and I threw the VMR trim right after it, just to back off on the gain that is added from this plugin. Can't find it here, but anyway, use some sort of trim plugin after it to level match a little bit. So if there's one thing that I would say that I wish that this had was an output knob so you can dial it back so you're not adding so much gain. But to me, strong points of this, great EQ. You can really, really crank it, which to me, that's something that your stock EQs and digital EQs, that's where they fall flat from analog EQs. A lot of analog EQs, you can just crank it and just really shape the sound to make something new or creative, and it just doesn't sound overcooked. And to me, this plugin does that in a really fantastic way. So if you have a chance and you see this video or you get an email from Soundtoys, jump on it because Soundtoys makes some really good stuff, and it's not always that you can get it for free. So go and pick this one up. Check out some of the other Soundtoys stuff. I use Little Microshift every mix. I use Little Alter Boy in like every single mix. And I have a feeling that I'm going to be using this one a lot too, especially this drive knob and this high frequencies. This is great on a bus, like I have it on my all music bus. This high frequency is great on vocals. I use some of the low frequency band on the drums, kick in particular. This drive knob, I used it on the keyboard, the organ, and it just really made it sound more gritty and more like what I think like an organ should sound. So just to show off some of this mid band, let's pull up another instance of it on, let's say, the bass guitar, and we'll just crank a little bit of this mids just so we can hear how colorful it is, and just how great this EQ is. So let's check it out. Maybe we'll try cutting a little bit of this 700 just so you can hear how that sounds, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up this video. So let's check it out. Okay, so just a really, really great EQ. This drive, you can hear that it can get really, really gritty. And that could be really cool on like a rock track or something where you want like a fuzz bass type sound. Just crank this drive up and get some sort of trim plug in and, dial it back. This mid EQ, on a bass, sometimes you need to boost some of these mids to make it cut through a little more. And I think this is a great EQ for that. It'd probably also be great on like a vocal where you want it to be a little more present. Um, or sometimes what I do is I'll go to my bus for my backing vocals and I'll cut a little bit of mids. So this would be great for that too because um, this EQ is just really great at adding frequency without making it sound unnatural. And the only other EQ that I can think of that's really like that in the hardware world is like a Pultec. Pultec, you can just really crank that, and it doesn't sound over EQ'd. And that's what this plugin does for me, in a way that is much different than a Pultec. This is just a great sounding EQ. I'm really glad that I was able to get this before they increased the price there. So once again, this is a fantastic plugin. Check out the Soundtoys stuff. This one's free until October 13th. Check it out. I hope you like this video. I hope that this video will convince you to go and check this out. There's nothing to lose here, for now at least. I mean, it's free. If you don't like it, then hey, you just delete it or whatever. So, once again, Soundtoys is amazing. Thank you so much, Soundtoys. I hope that you guys like this plugin. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. If you didn't, you can go ahead and give it a dislike. That's fine. You're entitled to your opinion, as I always say. If you really enjoyed this one and you think this plugin is awesome, please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. So thank you so much once again. Have a great rest of your day or night, depending on when you're watching this. Thank you so very much, and I'll see you in the next video.